Hello guys. Hello. Hello. Just testing my microphone and see if it's working very well. So today is 14th, many people are celebrating what we go. The celebration is going on. People are celebrating, enjoying. Um, and you know what people do on Valentine's, okay? People get to express their love to the people they care, to the people they value in life, not necessarily your partner or your it's not necessarily your partner or your girlfriend or boyfriend, husband, but you express love across the people you care. But my main topic or the thing I want to talk about today is not about love, but to me, I'm a person who talks about economy, technology, talk about entrepreneurship, I talk about money, and that's what I do most, and that's what I love doing or talking about, not even doing, because my career is all about design, video editing, motion graphics. So the other aspect of technology or money or economy is a self-taught thing that I continue to learn each and every day. So this is your boy Alano B, the billionaire, and that's the introduction. But if you have seen my thumbnail, today I just want to talk about the startup economy in Kenya. And this came up yesterday when my friend Eugene called me. We had like a 2 hour conversation, although it was late, so it's not something that we feel it was time wasting. No, those are important conversations we normally do with my friend Eugene. It might be physical meeting or via call. And during that call, we there's something that we questioned ourselves. And this is the thing. What do you think drives the economy of a country? What do you think drives the economy of a country? Because there's something that we are trying to evaluate as Kenyans. And right now we have a new government, and every government, they have their own structures, rules, and they would like to do things in their own way. But now there's some constant factors that will always remain there. For example, when a new government comes in, doesn't mean that the old businesses will die. No, the new government is to make sure that the old businesses keep existing and we have new businesses like coming up. So that one is to promote the economy of the country. Now, here's the thing. So during our discussion, the major thing that I have been researching on is about the startups. And I've seen many people doing live spaces on Twitter, discussing about economics, technology, and all those kind of things, AI, a lot of information out there. So you might not know which kind of information is good for your brain, which one is not good. So the thing is to filter out what kind of information you love to do. So I listen to those spaces, and most maybe from Kenya or international spaces, and a lot of questions arise. If you have been to Africa, if you have never been to Africa, you might assume like the challenges you go through there, maybe US or China, are the same kind of challenges we go through them here. No, they are not really the same challenges. I've been outside Kenya, but that was in Tanzania. We say Tanzania and Kenya, we almost have same problems. That's we share. That's what we share in common. Maybe. But I've never been outside Africa, so I might assume. But for me, I feel like it's somehow a little bit harder this side. So during the discussion, something came up, and we were like, okay, what drives the Kenyan economy? And most of the time, as Kenyans, we have been saying, we have been focusing on agriculture as the main backbone of economy. That's true. We have agriculture, in fact, is the main backbone of our economy. I don't see anything else. And now the competition comes in when we as Kenyans we start now importing food. We now starting to import food instead of exporting, and when that hits, it means like this disruption in that sector. So when there's disruption, it means we have to find a better way of doing our statistics. So now the question was, how many startups do you think are always there in a year statistically? How many startups? Let me assume the whole world. Do you think there are more than 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 startups in the whole world in a year? And how many startups do Kenya contribute to this whole package of startups in the world? And that thing made me scratch my head, because honestly, if you go and study US economy, China economy, UK or European market, some of these countries, what drives their economy, apart from other things, is the startups. How? I have a link here that this link has information, and this information is all about startups. And the first thing about this link, it describes about first it's highlighting the 2023. So far, the 2023 startups, and this thing, this website, I'm not sure if it's real life, but as of February 11th, that's like 4 days or 3 days ago, we have more than 107 startups globally. These startups, majority are from US. Then we now want to see the kind of divisions where these startups focus on, okay? And the thing is, the startups, one of these startups are B2B startups. B2B, it means business to business, and that's one. Then 39 is B2C. So B2C, it means business to customer. Okay, so 31%. So meaning majority of the businesses or these startups, they focus on other businesses. So it's a startup that wants to come up with a solution, and this solution they want to focus on another business, maybe a bigger business. Let me assume like now Apple or Safaricom in Kenya. So Safaricom, another startup, comes up with an idea that they think they can serve Safaricom. So Safaricom can incorporate this idea to their current or the existing model now, so that they can serve their customers. So Safaricom is a B2C, but now we need a B2B. So that, or which okay, now let me use the best example. The best example for startup in Kenya, as part, I think it came up 2020 or 2021. That's Twiga Farms. So Twiga Farms is a B2B business, or a B2B startup. So Twiga, it focuses on business. And what are the main functionality of Twiga? Twiga, it's called Twiga Food, is meant to supply food products to the vendors or to these small businesses seller, so that these businesses now can sell to people like us when we go and buy. So the Twiga, I don't know if I can call them brokers or not. It's not allowed maybe, because now they're acting like the middle farmers. So these people, they don't grow food, but they have food. So they get food from the farm or the farmers, they store them, then they bring this food, they sell the food to the other small vendors, okay? Then these people, or they can supply to the supermarket, so you can go and buy from the supermarket and all that kind of information. So, and this report, it says 90% of startups fail globally. So 90% of these startups fail globally. So let's do a quick review of if 90% of these startups fail globally, what does it mean? These are startups not for a specific country, it's global. So we can take the whole total of startups, then we now come up with a statistic saying 90% of these startups fail. So Kenya, we are not sure how many startups we channel out during the year. But to be honest, even if you Google right now, and look for Kenyan startups right now, let me show you the top list of Kenyan startups first per 2022 link. So according to a 2022 report by Startup Blink, Kenya is amongst the top 5 startup ecosystems in the Middle East and Africa region, and it's third in Africa. Okay, the introduction sounds sweet, but here's the thing: startups in Kenya increase in capital, M-Pesa, M-Kopa, Twiga Foods, Lorry Systems, Apollo Agriculture. Let me be honest, M-Pesa is not, right now M-Pesa is not a startup. Right now M-Pesa is a company that can stand on its own. It's more than 10 years, it's more than 20 years old, and it's making massive profits. So M-Pesa has passed the edge of being on a startup list, and whoever did this should update his system. M-Kopa was a kind of an insurance kind of thing, or what? M-Kopa was what? Let me confirm. No, M-Kopa was for energy. Okay. Yeah, I remember when Safaricom came up with this thing, they were supplying these small gadgets to people. The gadgets could have bulbs, solar, and then radio. But I don't think M-Kopa still exists, because we have had competitors. Sun King are their biggest competitors, and Sun King is not a local startup. That's not a local startup. So the competition for M-Kopa, I don't think this M-Kopa exists at the moment, because even if you walk to the rural areas, most of these, the kind of M-Kopa services they wanted to offer, they're being offered by other people like Sun King or what, unless M-Kopa changed the name. But it's not something to discuss about for Safaricom, and I don't think it's making any revenues at the moment. And for example, Safaricom has had various startups, and one of the first, let me mention a few of the startups that Safaricom has tried to start. One was this M-Kopa, and the other one was Masoko. Masoko was an e-commerce platform. which now currently I know Safaricom changed it to e-commerce that focuses on phone. And then and then we have what? We have another Safaricom startup that right now Safaricom has are trying to venture into energy industry, and they have this. I think it's Midgas or something. I think that one. And as the biggest thing to me is not about what Safaricom is trying to do, because Safaricom is a big company, a company with a lot of money, revenue. So for them trying out business and doing anything, it's not a big problem for them, because for them they can afford the budget of losing money for a startup. Let me assume even one. They can even afford to lose 1 billion shillings in a startup. That one, Safaricom is not a big issue to them. But for us, the people who are trying now to think about coming up with a startup, what do you think is our biggest hindrance in Kenya? Because to be honest, as a country, the backbone of the backbone of businesses is about how many startups do a country can hold, because US is the dominating country when it comes to startups. And here is the statistics. The statistics say here is an overview of top 10 countries with the most startups. Country, number of startups, okay? The US has 72,560 startups. India has 13,905. I don't know why they never placed China here. Maybe because they are not sure of the number in China, because right now China has been trying to hide the information. So maybe that might be the case. Then I can see UK has 6,396, Canada has 3,446, Australia has 2,399, Germany has 2,320. And also, we shall have a discussion on Germany, because Germany should be a superpower when it comes to technology. I don't know where they missed the point, and I had a discussion with my friends, because when it comes to automotives and engineering, Germany has been always the dominating giant in the room. But other countries are taking over. Okay, when you look at the German machines, as we always call them. So let's go back to our discussion. Why do these startups fail? First, how many startups do you think we have in Kenya? Not as per 2023, as per 2020. How many startups do you think we had in Kenya as per 2022? For me, that question, I might not be able to answer it, because I don't think we channel out as many startups as as other countries. I don't think so. And the worst part is, some of the startups we have here locally, if you go and do research about those startups and the people behind those startups, then you realize that majority of them are not the local people. It's not a bad thing, to be honest. It's not a bad thing, to be honest. But the thing is, and this was a curious question yesterday. When these people decide to go back to their countries, how many of these startups do you normally see flourishing after the investors decide to leave? How many do we see flourishing? So far, I haven't seen any. Okay, for the past 10 years, I can say it's only M-Pesa and Safaricom. Let me not say Safaricom. Let me say M-Pesa. M-Pesa is the typical startup that we understand, that was originally founded in Kenya. And M-Pesa has created employment, and it has caused disruption when it comes to technology. And Now the biggest question is, uh, how many startups do we have in Kenya for 2022? As of 2022, how many? Statistically, we can't get that information. The people who are in Nairobi Garage, is a place where we have more startups, and I'm also planning to visit that area very soon so that I can go and get this kind of information. Most of the startups doing well in Africa are the fintech startups. Do you know why the fintech startups are doing very well in Africa? Do you know why M-Pesa does very well? Do you know why? When it comes to fintech, it's always about money. So, money, when it comes to money, we as people, we love borrowing. So, there's a startup that was, this lady got, he got what? How do I? He got a deal of something, $1 billion US investments or what? He got an investor who funded the business. I don't know what's the name of this fintech company, but before the end of the discussion, I think I will have it. Here's the thing. The worst part when it comes to startups, why 90% of these startups fail, the second point is lack of product demand is the prime reason for the startup failure. Funny thing with the people who do startups, they assume like the market needs that product, and automatically the market doesn't need it. When you're creating a startup, you always assume the market needs the product. But eventually, when your product hits the market, that's when you realize it wasn't a need to the market. So maybe you never did the good research, or maybe your product came to the market very late, or the product came very early. And these factors, there are factors that you can't do anything about it. But let me see the biggest problem that we have had in Africa right now. And I think if somebody can just get that problem solved, it will be a hit. We go through a lot of issues when it comes to money transactions in Africa, and the biggest transfer of money in Africa, I'm not sure, but I can place PayPal as a bigger company when it comes to transacting money. And here's the thing. When PayPal do the transactions, there are a lot of people who complain about PayPal restrictions. And right now, due to the internet factors, people are no longer working on, like, it's a global, right now, even employment is globally. You don't need to go to US to get employed. You can work through online. We have companies like Upwork that you can go there and get employment. You can get jobs, then start working on it, or you can have companies that can give you long-term projects that you can continue working on. But there's this issue when it comes to payment. PayPal, when you get like $200 via PayPal to Africans, it's an issue. Even withdrawing, like you are given a period of 1 month so that you can withdraw the money. And you see, 1 month and you are in need of the money, that's an inconvenience. And that's the problem you're having. The people I see solving the fintech problem, I don't know why they don't deal with issue of transactions money within Africa and other global countries. That's a big problem we have. I swear that's a big problem. And I haven't seen any company that has done that. And if you want, you can try that. You can try so that you can solve the issue. So, as I continue highlighting, I've seen creative There's a comment that came here. Let me see. I'll read this. This Sneaky Creations. One of the major problems that faces the startup in our region is lack of capital or minimum capital toward R&D. So that's true. Research and development in Africa is very low. And I remember Amazon was setting up a research and development in South Africa last year. I don't know if they continued with the process or they never. True, we lack the budget for research and development as Africans. We don't put aside some money. The top countries, China, US, they have a budget for research and development. Why? Because, with the research and development, you are sure, not even 100% sure, but you can be able to predict the problem. And when you have the right research, you can be able to come up with a problem. You can be able to come up with a solution that you think can be able to solve the problems that may arise. Because all these problems, we don't get them, but they arise due to some situations. Like when M-Pesa came, we had an issue with sending and receiving money. When we had issues with mobile phones, where some years ago we were using booths, telephone booths. Then somebody sat down and came up with a mobile phone. I think Motorola were dominating this game before they were smashed. Right now, Apple is doing what it does best. The most valuable company in the world is Apple. Here's the thing. Now let's equate the startup industry in Kenya with our economy. And this is where I don't think many people get it right. As a country, if we want to raise revenue, it's not about taxing people. It's not about taxing people. Taxing is good, but if you want to raise revenue as a country, it's not about taxing people. When you're poor, then you set up rules to protect your poverty is the biggest issue. We can go back and see. Dubai is not older than Kenya. Qatar just hosted World Cup. It's not older than Kenya. Qatar is a very, very young country. They're old countries. We know they exist, but economically, these countries were not. They were not existing economically. But right now, economically, these countries are way up. Way up. Why? When you are poor in life, you don't set up rules that protect your poverty. You must open ways so that you allow people in your life with great impact. So let me bring this to startups and economy in Kenya. As Kenya, our economy is bad. We are doing badly. So if we set up rules, for example, taxing people who are not making money or taxing businesses that are not making profit, it's not the way to go. Here's the thing. I did a research and I found out the top countries, the first world countries, what they are taxing, most of them, their tax is not more than 5% interest. Interest tax. No more than 5%. 1, 2, 3, that's the average rate. Here's the thing. As Kenyans, we need to invite investors in this country because at the moment we are suffering. For us to invite investors is we have to make sure that we create sustainable governance that can allow these investors to come and invest their money here. And these investors can only come when the terms and conditions are good enough. They can favor those investors. Okay? One, if we want to have investors, we need to have how many do we have how do we call it? Do we have tax how do I call it? Tax Do we have, it's called startup tax? This, this is a term I want to use. Okay, do we have, do we exempt startups in Kenya from paying tax or not even? Oh, this is the term. Do we have tax incentives to startups in Kenya? Like incentives are those lucrative, like something you entice them with investors, so that when as local businesses are paying, let's say 6%, then for a startup you can give it at 1%. Do we have, with 1%, let me ask you, if we have 20 investors 20 investors coming to Kenya, and these people are coming with they want to invest in startups in Kenya, and these startups, let's say there are 20 startups, and these people are paying 2% tax interest rate. Do you think this will help us grow as a country? Because when these people come, first they are creating employment to the people, to the young people. So even the salary these young people are getting paid, you are going to tax it as a country. But where we benefit is when we lower the tax, or when we give tax incentives to these startups. And these startups now, the international investors can now sit down and say, wow, Kenya is a good country, that we can invest our money there, and we can get these tax incentives for a period of this time. Then from there we can now start paying fully amount when we start making profits. Because they say 2 to 3 years startups don't make any profit. That's like a locomotive. The startups are up and down, things are not working, you are trying to get the business together, you are trying to understand the market, so there's no profit. So if you are taxing a company that is not making profit for 3 years, do you think that company will still exist? Yes, no. If I'm an investor, I'm straight, I'm closing that business and going back, because I can't be dumping my money to a market where I'm not getting returns. Then I'm being taxed on the same money. Then I'm offering employment to the people of that country. Then I'm not making profit, and I'm paying tax that is so high. It's not bad. It's not we're saying that you don't pay tax, but you have to get tax incentives. Then we have this thing. Another one is so I saw two companies that are making headlines in 2023 as startups. One is Byte. It's called ByteDance. This is part of the TikTok company. My search shows that it's a backbone of TikTok. And we have another one in India. It's called, I don't know if I'll get this pronunciation very well. It's called Byju's. Byju's. Okay, BYJU apostrophe S. This is among the top unicorns in the world. So this Indian startup is very funny. It talks about teaching people, and it's like a class kind of startup. And I'm like, wow, Indians take this thing so serious. If you start can a startup that teach people in Kenya survive? People in Kenya don't even like listen to economic content. People want to dance. People want to make funny clips. Can this survive in Kenya? I'm not sure. But here's the startup list that of 2023, and they are growing very fast. One is startup around blockchain. Blockchain, you all understand, is something that deals with crypto and many things. E-commerce, shopping, artificial intelligence, and fintech are growing rapidly as of 2023. So if you're trying to look for a place where you can try and think of startups, those are the like 4 areas. Startups, 40% of startups fail due to lack of market need. We have addressed this. 15% of the US population is involved in startups. You know, when you say 15%, that's a good number of people being involved in startups, because US population is 331 million approximately. So 15% of this is a good number, because as we are 50 million, if 15% of 50 million was involved in startups in Kenya, this country will be top. Right now, I don't even think we have 1% involved. Don't confuse, please, startups and SMEs. Okay, SMEs, small businesses, enterprises, those are not startups. And this is a question that we have always been asking: are SMEs and startups the same? No, they are not. They are not. Do your research. I don't know how to explain it, but they are not. Now, statistically, I saw the 60% of startups begin at home. How many startups do we have in Kenya that begins at home? I don't see. Kenya is like a kickback economy country, where for you to get a business, you have to give somebody money, something like that, or you have to get a deal so that this somebody is part of the deal, so that the deal happens. Without that kind of process, you're not going to survive in the business. And that's what my friend yesterday told me. It's a deal economy. Eugene said it's a deal economy, which is a very bad thing as a country, where people want to get deals so that they can start businesses. No. If we empower young people to think of startups, because if Safaricom has created that kind of opportunities to the people, Safaricom has employed more than 100,000 people, or it has created more than 100,000 jobs. We have Safaricom agents, we have Safaricom, a lot of them. If we had such kind of businesses in Kenya, only 5 of them, where will be our company? Where will it be? It will be top. But right now, we only have Safaricom, then we have other companies like EBL. Now, it's a good company, but when it comes to technology, EBL is not. It's more of consumption, so it's not promoting what we want. It might create nice alcohol, that kind of thing. But remember, as we are focusing on things that we can also use to create and transform technology. So where's the thing? Then fewer 10% of startups that rise as seed around successful rise a series of investments. Here's the funny thing: as per Statista, the US created 3,114,111 new jobs in 2020 alone via startups. Do you think that's a sweet thing? 3 million jobs. And the US population is 331 million. So this means this startup is like contributing maybe 10% of, but it's not. It's more than 10% of the economy. So if startups can contribute 10% of Kenyan economy, then we get farming contribute maybe 20% of our economy. Then we focus on tourism, it gives us maybe 10% of the economy. Then it creates some balances. We balance. But right now, our economy is funded on loans or what? China is the one controlling our economy because we don't have money. We want to tax people who are not even employed. And we want to be happy about it? No, we can't do that. We need to find a way of attracting those international investors. And that's the key thing. And this is my request to the current president, Mr. Ruto. We need to attract investors as a country. We need to attract them. Dubai did it. Qatar did it. If you are an economist, you understand what Dubai did when it comes to investment, where they created a law that says if you are an international investor, we will allow you to invest in this country, but our local must have a share in that company, so that you don't wake up and sell the company. No, if you own 50% of the, like 50, we shall give you 60%, 70%, then give 30% to our local investor. With that, you encourage international investors so that they know there are good, conducive environment to handle this. But now, if investors are not coming, where are we going to get the international money? Through loans only? No, we can't do that. Because startups are what propels the economy of the country. China did it. China had to go and send people to US to understand what US do before China now started bringing their people back and told them, now you have got the knowledge. Come back and teach the people here. The people we send outside this country to go and learn and study about economy, do they even come back? Those people need to check their mental status, because you can't be sent by the government like on scholarship, and then you go back, you don't want to come back. No, you should come back and teach the people here. You are the one representing us international. We have sent you to go and collect that information, so that you can come and teach us. In fact, the people who are our local economists, those people, I haven't gone to school of economics, but those people who have gone to school of economics, you guys, you need to up your game when it comes to economics, if you understand. How many venture capitals do you have in Kenya? None. If it's there, and then it needs good marketing. We don't have any venture capitalists in Kenya. And if it's there, it needs good marketing. And if you don't understand who are venture capitalists, then do your research also. Because at the moment, we are not in the machine industry. We are in the info data industry, info economics. Tesla, look at Tesla. Tesla is right now controlling the automotive industry in the US. A company that is, Tesla, way back it's older, but the first year Tesla makes profit is from 2020. That's everybody now starts talking about Tesla. But the company was in existence due to logistics, ups and downs. So if you can also go and check out when Elon Musk said, we had no money, I had to take all my savings and decide. I had to split them, one to SpaceX and another one to Tesla. Okay? And the company survived. Now, Elon Musk can buy even Kenya. He can put all his resources together and say, let me buy this country. What do we need to do as a country, as people in this country, so that we can also improve our economy? The service industry is good. But when the service industry is dominating and there is no production, which country is that? A country that doesn't produce anything. We want to serve. Why do we want to serve when we have engineers going to school? Why? You guys need to question yourself. Well, because, when you are serving people and you're not producing, it means you get out of the market very fast, because the products you are using, they are not your products. So where are you getting your product? There's a page I follow on Twitter for avocados. I'm happy these guys, they export avocados, and I saw they had a summit with the Chinese market. They do, and I feel happy, because to balance the economy, we have to balance the export and import. We can't be importing everything, then exporting nothing, then expecting money. Where do you, even at your own home, you can't be loaning everything in, then you're not giving anything out. What are you? What? How will you get money? In fact, the people who run in Kenya, some of you guys should even change countries if you want, because we have what we call exported talent. You go and export your talent, make money. You will still pay tax here. We need that money. But if the government doesn't even want to export talent, why? We have countries that want to buy talent. As young people, we have to think very fast, because poverty is coming, and it's coming very fast. We don't have startups. We have opportunities. Remember, there's something that happened, and I cautioned myself. The weather conditions we have right now, we are complaining on it's too hot, extremely too hot. But I know it's not as hot as other places where it's arid and semi-arid. Okay, so today my biggest thing was about startups, and for sure, if we want to improve the economy of our country, we have to allow many startups. We have to have many startups. Here's a list of deal room that shows industry with the most investments. Okay, industry amount invested in 2021 and amount invested in 2022. The fintech industry, I will repeat, the fintech industry is making a lot of money. 2021, 28.9 US billion. 2022, 10.1 US billion. It dropped. Okay, as per 2022, all companies, wow, no company, no investments grew. All investors had to withdraw their money. Why? Why? Food, it dropped very badly. Health dropped. Home living dropped. Marketing dropped. Real estate dropped. Okay. So, if it takes an average of 6 months to hire one person for a startup, startup terms which startup teams with high levels of experience but medium to low level of enthusiasm and collaborative vision perform worse overall. Another study by Harvard Business Review shows that 60% of startups fail due to problems with the teams. You getting people who are not passionate about that product you are making, and they are working on it because of salaries. It will fail. Most startup employees work 50 to 60 hours each week, and many entrepreneurs work to 100. Get the difference? Startup sizes are shrinking. The average number of employees in a startup has fallen by 20% from 5 employees in 1994 to 4 employees. So even these startups are reducing the employment rate, so meaning people are not getting employed. So people are jobless. In India, around 40 to 50% of people who leave startups are recruited by IT firms, consultants, and product firms and global captive centers, CGCS. This is the list of Indian companies that have recruited the most number of people in quarter 4 2022. Wipro, TCS, Infosys, Cognizant, Tech Mahindra, HCL Technology, L&T Technology. So, guys, if we want to drive our economy of Kenya, why don't we allow startups in Kenya? And funny thing, there's a question that I had asked. In the local startups that we have, how many foreigners fund these companies and startups? Are the local people behind the startup? So we have somebody who is not Kenyan also behind the startup, because you see most of these startups, even if they hit the magazine, you will hear there's somebody who is not Kenyan behind it, and you will say most of them are people who have money, who can afford to lose money as they test the market. And this is good. But when these people decide to go, the businesses fail. I saw there's a guy who started a restaurant, a startup restaurant. It's called what? It was called what? Sorry, I forgot the name. And it had to bring some discussions on the internet about the credibility, about the research that involves when it comes to startups in in Kenya. And most of the people don't give like honest information, because when that restaurant failed, this guy said the meal was cheap. So he said the meal was $3. You know, $3 is 300 shillings in Kenya. That's expensive. If somebody told you that's cheap, the market, you know, okay, it's not expensive per se, because we have people who can afford. But remember, how many people can afford it daily? You know, 300. Somebody can spend today 300 for a good meal, but tomorrow he will question his financial pocket. So he will decide, no, I'm no longer going to spend 300 today again, because even the employment rate, you know, we are not paid as per dollars or what. We are underpaid as Kenya. The employees are underpaid people. That's honest. That's true. Because 50,000 Kenyan shillings is little money. Little money. So my thing or my request at this time is to make sure that we focus on startups. Companies like Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all these companies were once startups. Now they have grown into fortune companies. Tesla is on the way. SpaceX on the way. IBM has been there. All these companies started as startups. And the people behind these companies had vision. They had vision and they worked on it. Somebody like Steve Jobs had big vision on Apple. And right now, Apple is the most valuable company in the world. Steve Jobs was fired. He was rehired. Right now, the company is doing very well. Companies like Google, Uber, those are startup companies that right now they are global. TikTok is like a 3-year-old company right now. TikTok is generating good value. Revenue to the Chinese government. Okay, excuse. So, if we try and focus on startups, to me, I think we need another Safaricom in Kenya. And we are discussing about, in fact, the disruptive technology that is coming in energy industry, the solar. Then you need to think about it, because if Elon is pushing solar, it means people like Shell, Total, they have to worry so much. When the panel takes over, KPLC, when people start installing their solar panels, the other companies, it's not that they get affected today or tomorrow, no. But as long-term people who can see the future, we need to think of the long-term solutions. So we need startups in Kenya. We need good conditions for the international investors. We need venture capitalists. We need tax incentives for startups, because even me right now, I want to think so that I can have a startup. But now I think of, how long will this startup sustain? What problem am I coming to solve to the market? And what's the government support towards my startup? So if there's no support from the government, then I'll have to rethink about the solution. So that's my thing today, and I have hosted this. This is my second YouTube live, and I'm trying and connect with my other African people who develop content across technology, money, especially people who talk about technology and money and entrepreneurship, so that we can link up. I'm hoping that my next live session, we shall have 2 people, or me and another guy or a lady, so that we can discuss And specifically, if it's not from Kenya, I would love to have somebody from another country, so that we can discuss. We can come up with this solution. Maybe from South Africa, Egypt, Nigeria, Rwanda, Congo, Burundi, Tanzania. I have my friend from Tanzania, Tide. So I think we can plan with Tide, so that we can have a discussion on how Tanzania's economy is doing when it comes to technology. Or we can try and if I get an international, somebody from outside Africa, I'll be happy. But we can share this information. The only thing we have right now is to share information, and the information must be relevant to the economy of our country. And this information, we need to use it so that we can grow. We can grow ourselves, so that we can think globally. We don't have businesses in Africa affecting international businesses. That's the worst part. We don't have a business in Kenya that can affect. Let's try and come up with international systems or system way of thinking, so that we can have solutions. At the moment, we are not doing well economically. We are not doing well. So I have been your host, Alano be the billionaire. As you all know, I create content. I'm also a creative designer. This is my notebook. It says, writing goals mean nothing unless acted on. At least you wrote them down. Alano be the billionaire. You can see. So guys, please make sure that you write goals, so that we can grow our economy and the economy of the country, and we can change our lives. I've been your boy or your host, Alano B, the billionaire, guys. This almost 1 hour host. Almost. Next we're doing 1 hour. Peace, guys. Peace.